Hello, welcome back. My name is Sam. I hope you have a wonderful evening or morning. Some people asked me about the specializations and skill bar for the AoE version of the build to farm Crimson, to farm Berkant, or some in raid, anything that has a multiple target. So, I did a mistake in the previous guide video that I made, and I didn't explain it very well the AoE version because it took me a lot of time to explain the single target. So let's say that this one is like a filler video. So the build hasn't changed at all. The only difference is that I'm using I'm sorry, the legendary spear. Uh, I playing PvE, so I put Crimson's Lantern in it because it helps a lot with the cooldown of the Phoenix Barrage. Brutal Fury and Explosive Fury does a lot more damage, and of course it has a higher base damage overall than the Crimson Spear, although the Crimson Spear has a lot better attack speed. The attack speed here starts from 0.7 seconds, and the attack speed on the Crimson Spear starts from 0.6. So you're losing some attack speed, but you're getting a lot of base damage. Now, I put the Crimson Spear for the PvE. If you're playing PvP, you will probably want to use maybe uh, this passive for the fear, the scared to death, but I'm not a PvP player, so I won't touch this topic. For the skill bar, the main things I'm using is the Lightning Infusion, the Thunder Spirit, and the Javelin Inferno. Those are the three main spells that you're gonna need for damage. And of course the Explosive Fury to stack those Ember stacks. Yes, my English have hasn't improved. I'm not very sure about that, and I'm really sorry. From the passives, the most important passives, obviously the critical damage, the critical chance. This one, I can't even explain how broken it is with the mastery specialization. And we are getting attack speed, skill damage boost, and the three most important passives that you're gonna have is the Death Knell, the Mortal Wrath, and the Assassin Steps. Now, 2 months ago, if I'm not mistaken, or so, when they introduced the earrings and the back attacks, they changed the Assassin Steps. Now, instead of one free skill of when you killed an enemy, you would have the next skill with 0 mana cost. Now they removed it completely. That means that you're gonna waste a lot of mana. That's why we're using the Block Blade to regenerate this mana. But that means that when you kill a unit, you will have one secured back attack on your next kill. Now, how Mortal Wrath works is that when you land a heavy attack on the side or back, you can deal an additional 85% of base damage with a 30% chance. Obviously, it's random, but you're dealing so much damage in so many targets that you're gonna eventually get it. And of course, when the target is with less than 30% health, the attacks always become heavy attack. This is important for someone who doesn't have a lot of heavy attack. It guarantees the heavy and low targets is amazing, as long as you're hitting from the back, as obviously. Now, the Assassin Step gives you this guaranteed back attack, so those two work very good together. For the mastery, on the spear, I'm using the Swift Reaper. That gives the Death Knell extra cooldown speed. So now this passive gives you both attack speed and cooldown speed. You're gonna apply weaken effect to everyone with Lightning Infusion and with Explosive Fury, because Ignite stacks are a weaken effect. So you're gonna almost certainly have this. It's 15%, but you're killing way too many mobs to not guarantee that. Except if you are very unlucky. Now, for the daggers, the most optimal way to play the AoE version is this one, to get the extra attack speed. So you're getting mana regen, attack speed. I'm not sure, I'm thinking you're getting the movement speed as well, but movement speed is a little bit optional. If you're running solo, it's good. If you're running with a team, you're gonna have some tanks with you that you're gonna let them go first, so it's kinda niche. But because I'm too bored to switch for combat velocity every time I'm going for a Bergant burn or a Crimson burn, I'm just using this one. So, the specializations for the skills. For the daggers, I'm just using Lightning Infusion, like I said, with the mana cost reduced, because why not? It's not necessary, it's a fine addition. Thunder Spirit, you can tweak it a little bit so you can get the duration increased, but things die too quickly, you don't really need that. I'm using Thundering Bomb and Cleaving Moonlight with a consecutive use and the attack speed increase, because sometimes you will let one or two mobs, and with this build is kinda not very good, it doesn't have very good damage in single target, so you're gonna need some abilities to deal with them. One of these abilities is Rising Slash as well. Now, I'm using Flaming Arc for some extra ignite stacks and some extra damage. It's a filler move, you do it when you don't have the main moves to use. Abyssal Cleave with a critical cleave is always good to have. It gives more damage, it gives more critical chance in the next ability you're gonna use, and you will see why I'm putting it overall. I'm using Phoenix Barrage with everything. Conditional damage, you're gonna use the Abyssal Cleave and then a Phoenix Barrage, so you're getting the 20% more damage. It has more damage to mobs, so we're good with this. Now, Explosive Fury generates those sweet Ember stacks that we're gonna use to obliterate the mobs with Javelin Inferno. And of course, Sentinel's Bastion is here for the shield. You're gonna need that if you're gonna farm Crimson, especially if you're gonna farm Crimson alone. It's possible, but it's really scary. And Sentinel's Bastion for the more heavy attack. Also Bloodleech Aura for the healing. Again, if you're running Crimson, this is necessary. So, let's go for the demonstration, because we talked a lot already. How it works is Javelin spreads 3 times to 2 random targets. So effectively, when you throw a spear to this guy, the spear is gonna bounce to all of them 3 times, because they're 3 targets. So it's 1 plus 2 additional, and it bounced 3 times. So you're gonna do the back and forward, like we see. I had a lot of heavy attacks as well. I was a little bit lucky this time, but it spreads everywhere. It did like 20k damage with 1 spear, and no buffs. Now, Thunder Spirit, when the enemy is affected by Thunder Clouds, you deal 45.6% of base damage from the daggers, base damage, to random enemies within a 5-meter radius, to 2 random enemies. So, that synergizes very well with the 2 random enemies from the spear, from the Javelin Inferno. So, when I hit this dummy with the Javelin, the Thundercloud and the bounce goes to those 2. Now, when it hits this guy, the Thunder Spirit, only the Thunder, procs to those 2 as well, and the same goes for the third dummy that procs to the other 2. So, when I stack on this dummy and open Lightning Infusion and the Thunder Spirit and throw this one, you see I hit everything. And it bounces back and forward a lot. The main damage that you're gonna deal, of course, is from the javelins. Now, if I go to those 3 dummies that are in 5 million HP and throw 5 javelins with all the passive equipped, you see I'm dealing a lot of damage, almost 500k. You can increase this damage, of course, with when you use Abyssal Cleave with Phoenix Barrage. First of all, Phoenix Barrage does a lot of damage itself, but gives you extra critical damage. I think it's 15%, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's 15%. It says 3 seconds, but if you have more than 50% buff duration, it goes all the way up to 5 seconds. So the main combo is buffs, Abyssal Cleave into Phoenix Barrage, then use the Explosive Furies, and then you just throw your Javelin. So if we say that these dummies have close to 4.6 million HP, we're coming here, opening all the buffs, Abyssal Cleave, Phoenix Barrage, all 5, and then the 5 Javelin Infernos. So I did almost 900k damage with the whole combo. 900k damage in Berkant mobs just they're getting obliterated, and Crimson mobs, they have some stuns, some things like that you're gonna have to pay attention to, but they die as well. The only difference is that they have a lot more damage. So that's the main build. Like I said before, you're gonna use buffs, Abyssal Cleave, Phoenix Barrage, the 5 Explosive Furies, and the 5 Javelin Inferno. Now, if anything survives, you're gonna use Culling Arc, you're gonna use the Exploding, and your Filler's ability. Something that you might notice is because I have the Crimson passive on my spear, I can use Phoenix Barrage, and then those 5 Explosive Fury gets the Phoenix Barrage cooldown down a lot. So if I use it and go like that, you saw that it's on 7 seconds. Now if I go to Berkant, you will notice that this Phoenix Barrage cooldown drops down to maybe 1 second sometimes, so it's a lot better. For my artifacts, I'm using the same as the single target mobs. You need for Chaos Heartbringer. I'm using Predator's Maw for the 4% base damage increase, and I'm using the Plains Ravager Solarstone for the 22 base damage as well. Now I have some different, like I have for Wildkin, I have for Demon damage boost, I have different ones for the different types of enemies. So I will go to make a quick trip to the Berkant to show you a quick how I clear the mobs there, and I will go to do the field boss as well, just for a bonus at the end of the video. So we're here. Let's demonstrate that in action. So I like to farm in the mirror room and the underground library. You're getting really good pulls. So you're gonna pull them, do a good in the middle, do your buffs. I'm opening artifacts sometimes, stun, Phoenix Barrage, some dodge rolls, the Explosive Fury. Now you see I have the Phoenix Barrage again, and then I can use my Javelin Inferno. Now double Phoenix Barrage do clear them a little bit faster sometimes, because in Berkant they don't have a lot of HP, but you need this passive of the spear. So another one to show you how it's done again. You're gonna pull them in the middle, open buffs, open cleaving, Phoenix Barrage, the Explosive Fury, and then the Javelin. As you see, you're dealing a lot of damage. Sometimes, like this one, you might have an enemy stay alive, you're gonna use your Filler's abilities. Something that I didn't mention is that when I farm solo I barely run out of mana, and I'm also using Dragon Ascent, so you're not gonna have mana problems with this build. And I'm also, if I get my HP a little bit down without dying, hopefully, you will notice how much of survivability it has. Only with a Blood Leech I'm staying at full health. Now, when I get dropped, if I throw a Javelin, please, you see, look at my HP, it goes up pretty quickly. and with the Phoenix Barrage it goes up completely. Sometimes you won't need that, sometimes it's a life savior, and sometimes the enemies decide to go Ultra Instincts on you and just get you perma-stunned and killed. So that's the build. I hope you enjoyed the video, I hope you learned something from it, and thank you very much. Alright, we're back. Like I said, I'm gonna do the field boss because it was near time with the times that I recorded the video with the field boss. You always have to be at low HP, and let's do it. The rotation is the same one as the guide video. Open buffs. I hope it won't get moved a lot. I hope I won't get killed a lot. And that's the worst possible outcome, almost. Every time you're playing this boss, someone will move it. It's annoying. We all have been here. Oops, I wasn't paying attention. So let's see, now that I messed the combo so badly, what rank am I gonna get? I have very confidence in my build, to be honest. Even though I messed the combo pretty badly then and even got stunned, I still could hit rank 1 with almost 4% contribution. Now, because it was Levi, I remembered that some people asked me why I play with Berkant instead of Leviathan's daggers. Now, I prefer Berkant daggers because when I did the maths for it, I saw that the 30 base damage you're getting from the daggers, it's much more beneficial than the Umbral Spirit damage on the Leviathans, and the duration as well. Now, I haven't done any tests with the Leviathan daggers. I don't have a complete opinion about the matter. But just from the maths I did, I saw that the 30 base damage, obviously the 30 base damage also goes to the spear, so this is huge. Like if I come here and do some attacks, you will see that now the spear is at 90-92. So you're getting base damage from the Berkant passive into the spear, and you're having a lot of abilities from the spear class, like your main damaging abilities that are Phoenix Barrage, Brutal Fury, and Slaughtering Slash all come from the Phoenix Barrage. Yes, you have some that comes from the daggers, but Umbral Spirit doesn't have that much damage in general to have to for this 20% extra buff to matter. Now, something that's really good for the Leviathan daggers is the mana cost efficiency. The mana cost efficiency is really good. You can get like 17% mana cost efficiency, which is amazing. But if I get my hands on it, if it's not sellable from a box, I might do some practice tests, to call it like that. Always unlucky. But yeah, if I get my hands on it, I will do some tests and have a complete opinion. But right now, I will always prefer the Berkant daggers. Thank you very much for watching the video, and see you guys in next videos of field bosses or PvE content in general. Have a nice and wonderful rest of your days.